Good morning, everybody. It's time to wake up. Actually, everybody looks wide awake this morning and energetic, and the weather is great today, so that is wonderful. So just want to say welcome, everybody, and before we start with the program, I'm going to ask Pastor Jeff Wells from Faith Christian Family Church to come up here and say our opening prayer.
Good morning, everybody. Let's pray. Father, we thank you so much for this wonderful, as Nita said, this great weather that we have. We thank you so much for it. And Lord, I just pray for, we thank you. I just feeling gratefulness in my heart. We thank you so much for the way that you bless business here in Lapeer and helping us get to where we want to be and where we'd like to be, Father. We thank you for new businesses opening up the way they have, Lord. And I thank you that every building's filled in Lapeer with business. And Lord, we thank you for blessing the rest of this day. Lord, thank you for blessing our municipalities and taking care of them and helping them and bringing the right people in. And we just thank you so much for that. Thank you for blessing our court systems and our judges. And we just appreciate so much this great city that we live in. Thank you for making it greater. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Jeff. Okay, lots of things going on. Oh my gosh, we're just a month away from the festival. And it falls right in the middle of the month this year. Usually there's only a week after at the end of the month, but the calendar is weird this year, so it's middle of August. So don't let that fool you and think, oh, we got lots of time. So if you're going to enter into anything, parade, vendor, craft show, if the talent showcase, the Miss Lapeer Days pageant, which we really need contestants, we need to get those registrations in because we need time to process them, and it's quite a process to get vendors situated and located according to whatever their space needs are and electrical and those types of things. So don't let the calendar, throw you off. It's getting down to, time to get all those things in. So, and this year, the Soapbox Derby, there's a registration form on the Lapeer Days Festival website for that as well. The Soapbox Derby the past 2 years was moved over to Oregon Street after it was paved, but now that we have this beautiful new pavement and resurfacing done on the hill on Nipissing Street, East End, Soapbox Derby will be coming back there. So if you know any young men and women who would find that fun and enjoyable, and it really is a fun time. It's a great race. And there are also, you don't have to build your own car or have it. I know that through Cypress Computers, they have, in the Chimeras team, they have extra cars. So if you know of a young gal or a young man who would like to participate in that, we've got information on that registration form as to who you can call to get a car reserved for them to have some fun and come out on Sunday for that. And I'm very pleased to announce that DTE Energy Foundation has joined with View Newspaper Group and Hurley Medical Center as a major sponsor for the Lapeer Days Festival. So we're very excited about that and very pleased that they're offering their support. It's a huge endeavor, and it's funded by sponsorships and donations and those types of things. So we're really very, very grateful that they're able to help us this year. Some things with Lapeer Days, spin-off revenue from this festival is huge for our community. A lot of people think, oh, it's just a bunch of music and noise, but it really has a major economic impact on Lapeer. And one of the things that we're really pleased about is we generally at that festival host 15 to 20 different nonprofits who utilize over the 3 days of that festival, and you've got over 100,000, 130,000 estimated people coming through our community from other communities and obviously people who live here. So for nonprofits, it's a wonderful platform for them to be able to share information about their philanthropic programs and create awareness for families and people in need who are reaching out and don't know maybe where to go for certain types of services. So it really has a wonderful benefit in that fact, especially if you look at just what the optimists do for the community and how much money that they're able to raise through all of the things that they offer throughout the festival. It's Michigan's oldest, largest free festival, and we're really always grateful, and we're very fortunate and pleased that we're able to provide this for the community. For many families, and I think, Dave, you put it best, it's their Cedar Point with their family. It's their Disney trip. And it really serves a great purpose, and for a lot of families, it's what they look forward to the most, it's available to them when other things aren't. So a lot of good and positive things about the festival. And we're going to be hosting over 100 vendors, both local vendors who come in from out of state. The craft show is beautiful along the river, and we've got new vendors coming in this year for that. Our entertainment this year, Friday night is country music night always, and that's a duo called Maddie and Tay. They're very popular and rising hugely on the country music charts. Saliva is Saturday night, that's rock night, so if you're a rocker, there you go. Have no idea, I couldn't tell you. So, but they're going to be there. They're going to be there. Kanan Smith is going to be our national headliner who will be closing out the festival on main stage. And this year we're really pleased, and we always try to incorporate a lot of local and regional, not just vocal groups or bands, but this year we're really pleased to give opportunity and stage time to Frame 42, which is a young student musicians group through DB's Live. And young musicians community, more commonly you'll know third degree burns, second degree burns. They'll also be performing this year. And we're really pleased to be able to do that. And also, for the first time in a while, the School of Bach. So these are all youth groups and students who are so extremely talented, and it really is our privilege to be able to offer them opportunity to perform during Lapeer Day. So, in doing, like I said, a lot of local bands and groups for demos. We have a 70-foot giant inflatable obstacle course coming this year that I think is going to be great fun for a lot of people. Bubble battles, which are those big giant bubbles you get inside. They were a huge hit last year, coming back again. We have a bungee type jumping thing coming back this year, so lots of fun things. Great puppet show free for the kids on Saturday under the Farmers Market Pavilion, in addition to entertainment and some of our traditional things that families look forward to. So we're very excited this year and looking forward to it. And as I said, Miss Lapeer Days, we've changed the deadline. We extended it to Monday the 23rd. We need 5 girls registered in 4 different age categories, and right now we don't have that. So if we don't get enough girls, then we may have to forego that for this year and then give it a shot and bring it back next year. So just a reminder. All the forms, the schedule of events, everything is at lapeerdays.com, so you can get forms to enter anything or register your son or daughter for Derby, for whatever. All that information is on that page. Vendor forms, everything. Michigan Dance Company is having an official grand opening and ribbon cutting on Saturday, July the 28th, noon to 3, and they are in the plaza behind Starbucks. Ribbon cutting is at 3, and if you have a granddaughter, a daughter, or a niece who's interested in dance, if you come that day, you get registration for 50% off. So hopefully, and if you're in town, out and about, stop by. The ribbon cutting is at 3 o'clock, and they'll have food and refreshments and all kinds of fun things going on. Our next after-hour mixer is coming up at Sidetracks on the 26th, which is next Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30. Great networking, great food, and weather permitting, if it isn't 105, then we're going to be out on their beautiful patio, and they have lots of fun things. I think they have like football, bowling, and different things out in that back area, so it'll be a fun time and a fun place, and like I said, great networking. Our food truck festivals have been wonderful. We've had just a wonderful turnout from the community, and people are really enjoying them and having a great time. It's just a wonderful combination when working with the DDA. Their car show is going on up on Nepessing. Our food trucks are along the river. We've got entertainment over in the pavilion, and it's just been a really fun, unique, new thing to do in the community. Our next one, however, will be in September, and that will be our last one for the season. We aren't doing anything next month, obviously, because we're going to be kind of busy. But we will keep the posting on that event page and stuff going, and information going out to our members to remind everybody. And like I said, we've had a great turnout, and it's just turned into a really wonderful and fun new event. And we want to thank View Newspaper for being our major sponsor for that event. So lots of things coming up. Fireworks were fabulous this year, so shout out to all the sponsors and businesses who supported that and who also support Lapeer Days and everything that the Chamber does for the community. those things that help make this a wonderful place to live and to work. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. And I'm going to introduce our guest speaker, Luke Londo. He is from Attorney General Bill Schuette's office. Luke, come on up here. He's got lots of good information to talk about today.
Good morning. As Nita mentioned, I am Luke Londo with Attorney General Bill Schuette's office. I have a little bit of a cold, so I appreciate you guys bearing with me. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Marquette, Michigan. Proud Yooper. I went to Northern Michigan University, where I met my best friend Madeline, who's now my wife. She works here in Royal Oak. Prior to this, I served as the Director of Constituent Services for Congressman Dan Benishek until he retired late in 2016. And in May of last year, I was hired by the Michigan Department of Attorney General. I'm extremely grateful to Nita Payne and all the community leaders present here today. This is the first time I think I've had the pleasure of addressing most of you, and I know how much this chamber means to Lapeer County. The unemployment here has fallen by over half in the last 5 years, and I know that that is directly attributable to most of the people here in this room. Now, Nita said since this is so early in the morning that I should start out by telling a joke, so I'd like to tell you my favorite one. The Lions are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Normally I get shouted down, so I appreciate the laughter. Instead, I will tell you a little bit of a better one that I have yet to have the courage to tell my boss. So a businessman disappointed in his career decided to volunteer for the very, very first brain transplant. A brilliant surgeon offered him a choice of 3 samples from his brain bank. One from a leading surgeon for $10,000, one from a leading NASA scientist for $10,000, and one from a retired politician for $50,000. He inquired why the one from the politician was so much more expensive. It's never been used. You can see why I haven't told my boss that joke yet. So I had the pleasure of addressing the Kiwanis group yesterday, and though I don't want to overlap material, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the consumer protection programs that are available through our office. That is one of our divisions and probably the one that I work most closely with. So these programs are 100% free of charge. We will bring materials, a presenter, and speak to your employees, your organization, or like many others have done, present to the public using your venue or your auditorium or your conference room. It helps create wonderful optics for your business, and it helps our department complete our mission to aid and assist the public. All the information for the programs I'm about to mention can be found at our website. It's just mi.gov/ag. So these programs include home repair and improvement, where we will educate about unscrupulous contractors and home repair scams, ID theft, such as how to learn the signs, educate the public about being proactive about obtaining their credit reports, and what to do if your information has been compromised, in-home care and senior residences, where people can learn about resources available to help you make the best decisions regarding care for yourself or loved ones. Having a family member enter a senior residency or an assisted living facility or go through hospice is one of the most difficult choices that you or your children can make for you. And we want to make sure that you are able to make an informed decision that preserves the integrity of those you're making that decision for. Fourthly, we offer a presentation on investment fraud, which demonstrates how to recognize fraudulent investments and objective facts about reverse mortgages. Next, we have online safety. This teaches you to safeguard your devices, your money, and your personal information. I once read online that Abraham Lincoln said that you can't read everything that you see on the internet, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. Whether it is the email from your bank that really isn't from your bank asking for your password, or one of the 17 social networking sites that your children are using every day, with people with fake accounts trying to mine their personal information, the internet is probably the most dangerous place in terms of having your assets or your identity compromised. And then lastly, we offer one on phone, mail, and e-scams, which are largely just an extension of online safety. We share with individuals how to learn the telltale signs of scams prevalent in phone calls, mail, email. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the IRS scam going around, where somebody purportedly from the IRS will be calling you, asking for $2,000 in iTunes gift cards. So you make that payment thinking, no, seriously. And people will go out and buy these iTunes gift cards. and then read the card number to somebody who they think is the IRS, and that person just bails with your money, and if you owe to the IRS, you still owe to the IRS. I also, about 4 months ago, received a call from my alma mater, Northern Michigan University, requesting a donation. I made the mistake of donating the very first time they called me, so they called me fairly frequently. And the Upper Peninsula is the most homogenous place I've ever been to in my life, so the accent of the individual was not something I had recognized or ever experienced in Marquette. So I started asking super basic questions about who's our mascot, tell me about the huge renovation going to the University Center, and they quickly hung up the phone, and I realized that this was actually not somebody from NMU. I have no idea how they got my number or figured that I was an alumni. So I very quickly called the Alumni Association, and they put out basically an APB on Facebook and social media. And what I had learned afterwards was those people had made about $25,000 off of alumni just over the course of an hour. So again, these programs on education are completely free to the public, and we'll provide all the materials necessary. Now I'd like to take this opportunity to just give you guys sort of an update on what's going on with our office. Firstly, I want to start with the Flint water crisis. So a little bit of background. While under a state-appointed emergency manager, the city of Flint switched from using Detroit's water system to using the Flint River for its supply in 2014. We stated that the Department of Environmental Quality and local officials were negligent in not treating the water, and were also negligent in ignoring numerous signs of lead and other contaminations, which resulted in individuals acquiring Legionnaire's disease and dying. We have achieved 51 criminal charges against 15 state and local officials, and we do have 4 convictions already. There are 11 defendants. We have filed lawsuits against 2 water infrastructure firms as well, and we did file charges against Nick Lyon, who is the Director of Health and Human Services of Michigan, for 1 count of involuntary manslaughter and 1 count of misconduct in office. Criminal charges have also been filed against Michigan's Chief Medical Executive, Dr. Eden Wells, for 1 count of obstruction and 1 count of lying to a peace officer. The Attorney General is committed to bringing justice for those victims exposed to contaminated water. This was a tragedy that must not strike any town in the state of Michigan again. The Attorney General is continuing his independent investigation of this situation, and more details will be coming forth over the next weeks and months. Within the next couple of weeks, we actually expect the judge to make the decision on whether or not Nick Lyon will be going to trial. And while unpopular, our department is committed to ensuring everyone involved at every level of government is brought to justice. I get a lot of questions on why this is taking so long. You know, that switch happened in 2014 and it's 4 years later. Given that in some of the instances there are over 1 million pages of discovery, typically the defendant's attorneys are the ones requesting postponements to prepare for the case. So that is a good chunk of why this is dragging out the way it is. Nextly, I did want to talk about Larry Nassar. So our department did charge and successfully prosecute Dr. Larry Nassar, the gymnastics physician who sexually abused dozens of female athletes. In December of 2017, the state received a guilty plea from Larry Nassar on multiple first-degree sexual assault charges in Ingham and Eaton counties. He was sentenced to literally hundreds of years in prison. He was also convicted federally of possession of child pornography and is actually serving his sentence for that crime down south. If by some miracle he finishes out his sentence there, he will assuredly die in prison in Michigan. I'm not sure if any of you had the opportunity to catch the ESPYs last night, but every single woman that came forward and gave a victim impact statement in Eaton and Ingham counties were honored with the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage. They have said that while they may be a victim, they're also a survivor and will use their voice to teach the next generations of gymnasts, athletes, and Olympians not to value medals and success over their own safety. And while I am immensely proud of the work our department did, especially former Assistant Attorney General Angie Povolitis, these women are the true heroes. Next, there is another individual from Michigan State, William Strample, who is one of Larry Nassar's bosses and the dean of the College of Osteopathic Medicine, who we recently charged with 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct, felony misconduct in office, and 2 counts of willful neglect of duty. Additionally, he was stripped of his medical license after our department made a referral to the administrative agency responsible for licensure, and as this case is an active litigation, I can't say anything beyond that. Next, with Citibank, So there were attorneys general in 42 states, including Michigan, and we accused Citibank of manipulating LIBOR, which is a benchmark rate that influences lending rates worldwide, and it allowed them to gain millions of dollars from fraudulent conduct. Our department was able to secure $3 million from the $100 million multi-state settlement. Another multi-state settlement that recently went through was with AmeriGas. We actually filed suit for the second time in 4 years against them for violating the Michigan Consumer Protection Act. One of the things they allegedly did was a scam where they'd offer introductory rates to brand new customers at a loss for them, and what they did was they passed that cost on to existing consumers. So they were charging some people around $1 a gallon and other people $3 a gallon, and the average cost that winter was like $1.63. So we are once again filing suit against them. Next, I did want to talk about the opioid epidemic in the state of Michigan especially. So one of the things our department is especially active in is combating the opioid epidemic. Michigan is one of the worst states in the country for the proliferation of opioids. We rank 10th in the country in the amount of prescriptions that we provide. It's literally tens of millions, more than the population of Michigan is the number of prescriptions that go out for, Vicodin, fentanyl, things like that. And we also rank 18th in the country in opioid deaths. Michigan is actually rife with cases of individuals getting a prescription for hydrocodone after getting their wisdom teeth out, or having a back injury, or recovering from a surgery, and becoming addicted and chasing a more and more extreme high that never results in anything positive. We are the only state in the country with an opioid interdiction unit that pursues and prosecutes everything from your neighborhood drug dealer to pharmacies, pill mills, and doctors that are overprescribing. Between 2014 and 2015, the number of opioid overdoses increased by 25%. Between 2015 and 2016, it increased over 50%. And a lot of overdoses actually go underreported due to the lack of autopsies, and in some cases, in counties and jurisdictions, they don't even have the ability to list it as a contributing factor. So somebody may die of anaphylaxis as a result of a drug overdose, but that overdose actually doesn't get placed on it. It just says anaphylaxis. So it's really, really underreported. And to put into seriousness their perspective, there were more deaths by opioid overdoses in the city of Detroit in 2015 than there were homicides. And the city of Detroit had the third highest homicide rate in the entire country that year. So as of now, we have taken on over 40 cases and secured at least 6 convictions, and more charges are pending. And these aren't just local corner drug dealers. Most of the time, these were individuals running massive operations with extremely high volumes of opioids that we have taken off the streets. We also recently secured funding from the legislature that had come from a multi-state settlement with a pharmaceutical company that we were part of that is now going to opioid addiction education and prevention efforts, and also providing law enforcement opioid response training across the state. The Attorney General recently, I think Monday or Tuesday, took part in Drug Take-Back Day, where pharmacies across the state actually allowed consumers to bring in their unwanted drugs to dispose of. And additionally, there is grant funding available, and there are local agencies that are trying to equip people such as yourselves with Narcan to help prevent an overdose. I've done truth trainings myself. It takes a half hour to an hour. I always have Narcan in my car. I brought it to the music festival I was at this last weekend. Fire and police departments get charged the better part of retail for a Narcan prescription, and that can be as high as $300, whereas there are a lot of agencies that are just trying to give it away for free. So it's extremely cost prohibitive for your local first responders. So please do your part, please get involved, and you could very well end up saving a life. Lastly, I did want to talk about human sex trafficking because it's not something that is often spoke about and goes extremely underreported in the state of Michigan. So human sex trafficking is just modern day slavery, and Michigan ranks second worst in the entire country in terms of human sex trafficking. Second worst. A large part of that is geographical. We sit on an international border with a friendly country. We are part of a major shipping corridor between New York and Pennsylvania and Chicago, and we are surrounded by 4 or 5 of the Great Lakes. That said, trafficking has actually gotten even more sophisticated in our state. Numerous tales of flyers posting high-paying jobs for high school students. You'll see it on a light post somewhere. And it provides nothing more than a phone number. So somebody will call that number and they'll say, hey, I'd like to offer you a job, meet me at X location. And they will actually go there, and it's just a ploy for them to take the child. The average girl that's trafficked is 12 to 14 years old the first time that happens. The average age of a boy that is trafficked for the first time is 11 to 13. And at any given moment, there are over 30 people being trafficked in Metro Detroit. So our office actually has a trafficking task force, which is made up of local law enforcement personnel, community leaders, women's organizations, lawyers, and activists who we are proud to stand with side by side to combat this issue. As of the beginning of this year, we have charged 21 individuals with engaging in trafficking, and we have 17 convictions and 4 cases still pending. More importantly, we have achieved justice for dozens upon dozens of victims. Additionally, we worked with legislators to pass a legislative package that stops treating victims as criminals and instead help them find resources and convicted the perpetrators who were trafficking them. I was recently speaking to an FBI agent that works solely on human trafficking now, but prior he was a beat cop in Detroit for the better part of 10 years. And he said previously if his precinct was low on quota, they would just go round up all of the ladies that were working. And they would just charge them and they would just release them the next day. So this obviously did absolutely nothing to fix the issue. And instead now it is the individuals controlling them that are being pursued. And we are working diligently to ensure that the victims achieve justice and stability in their own lives. Thank you all very much for your time and attention and for everything that you guys do for your community. And I'd be happy to take any questions that you have. God, you guys are easy. Okay,
I know,
Nita?
so I'm just thinking, so how do they go about identifying these human trafficking rings? I mean,
There's a multitude of different things. We had one case not that long ago where an individual was actually trafficking opioids as well. And while there was a drug bust happening, we also realized that it was taking place at a hotel. And during the stakeout, realized that there was a lot of people in and out thinking that they were drug deals, but in fact, they were actually going in to visit women that were being trafficked. So that was one instance. Other times, it's just a lot of traditional police work.
anybody else? Any advice that you could give for parents? And I mean, that was interesting when you were talking about flyers on a telephone call, and now we're in the summer season, and so many students are looking for part-time jobs and things like that, and you see them everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, don't use Craigslist to find a job. It's probably the first and best advice I can give. Also, if you see, a sign on a light post offering $15 an hour to a high school students, my wife doesn't make $15 an hour, and she's been at a chiropractic facility for the better part of 3 years. Things like that are just really, really counterintuitive, and they often sound way too good to be true. And if they are, or if it sounds too good to be true, it almost alwast is. So, go through reputable agencies to seek jobs. You have Michigan Works, you can go on Indeed, you can go on Monster. The state of Michigan has additional websites that allow you to look for jobs. That's probably the best answer I can give.
All right, anybody else?
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, our first sponsor today, Julie Forbush, Sovita Credit Union, formerly Flint Area School Employees Credit Union.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I am Julie Forbush with Sovita Credit Union, formerly Flint Area School Employees Credit Union. I have Dave Dean here as well. We went through a rebrand effective July 2nd, and this video is going to explain a little bit more behind the new name, Sovita Credit Union. We do have an office located here in Lapeer on Saginaw Street in the VTC Insurance Building next to Church's Lumber. Before we get to the video, I just wanted to talk about a couple things that we have going on right now. A $5,000 sweepstakes that we're doing. We're doing 3 $5,000 checks. Nominations are accepted until July 31st, and there's a flyer in the bag there. We have some schools that have nominated themselves that need a new playground. We've got a library that needs help with funding. We have a medical office that needs new equipment. So anything, we have a lot of organizations, a lot of members of the chamber that I think this could benefit. So if you think of something, take a look at that pamphlet and get entered. We're also doing a school supply drive until August 31st. So if anyone is interested in having a drop box location, let me know either today or get a hold of me. Either stop in the branch, we can get you on the list. We're also doing member appreciation, free lunch for 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, August 8th and August 9th. So I invite all of you out to come check out our location, check us out and see what's going on. And lastly, we have Facebook, so please like our Facebook page, Sovita Credit Union. And with that, we'll get the video started. And this kind of explains the meaning behind why we chose Sovita Credit Union and what it means. That's Sovita. If you have any questions, comments, please, I'll be here until the end of this, and then you can come visit us at the branch too. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Okay, our next sponsor, Robert Norcross from Web Center, and Robert has a special presentation that he is going to be doing here today. So Robert, come on up and let's get that started.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Norcross from Web Center, website design company here in Lapeer, and I'm very excited today because today we are going to give back. And I don't think there's anything better than helping somebody that's in need. And so I started my company in Lapeer when I was 19 years old, and at the time it was just me and a couple of clients. And today we have a whole team, and we work with over 100 businesses. And given the success that we've had in the community, about a year ago, we decided to start setting a portion of our profits aside in order to give that back to the community. And today, that's what we want to do. So the first organization that we want to give back to is Lakata. Lakata, if you could join me up here, please. So for those of you that don't know, 1 in 3 women will be a victim of domestic violence in their lives. And given that crazy statistic, Lakata provides resources, shelter, anything that people need that are in a situation like that. And so that's why today we want to present this check to Lakata for $2,500. But that's not all we want to do. So we also want to give to another great organization in the area, Stone Soup. Could you guys join me up here? So Stone Soup provides food to the hungry in Lapeer County. And $1 that you give to their organization equals 3 meals. So we also want to give them a check for $2,500 to their organization.
So there's been hi, I'm Mary Ann from Stone Soup Food Bank. I just want to let you know that there's been some like rumblings about are we moving and different things in the community, and we're here to stay. We just went through a little change. We looked at some of the costs associated with it, and we're really a food bank. And what we do is we provide food in bulk to other organizations, other churches and other pantries. We started off with 35 agencies, and now we're up to 65 agencies. So we get 20,000 pounds of bread, 15,000 pounds of vegetables a week, and we pass that out every week. We also had a client walk-in pantry, and we were seeing that our numbers were going down. As you can tell, the people in Lapeer are being employed, and also too, there was a major school that was closed down 3 years ago, and there's a trickle-down effect. So I just want to let you know that we appreciate your support. We're here to stay in the community. And if you have any questions, just give us a call. Thank you.
So we're very proud to be able to give $5,000 back to the community today. And the big thing is we want to encourage all of you out there to do the same, to give back to your community. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Robert. I remember when he started out, just Robert in that one business, and the success that we've had the privilege of observing and watching over the last 2 years through the chamber, and Robert used to be my neighbor. We're really pleased and we're really proud of them and happy that they've seen the success and the growth that they have to the point where they can do things like this and give back to the community, and that's part of what it's all about. So. Okay, our next sponsor, Metamora Physical Therapy, Heidi Irwin and Kathy Pepper. Come on up, ladies. And I'm just going to have you explain this door prize. We're not doing it right now, but you do a better job than me.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here. We're glad to sponsor this nice event. I'm Heidi Irwin, and this is Kathy Pepper, and we're both physical therapists. And we opened Metamora Physical Therapy this January in Metamora, of course, just south of Pratt Road on 24. We both collectively have 37 years of outpatient orthopedic physical therapy experience. And I was born and raised here, so it's really nice to be back here in the community. Kathy just moved here from Davisburg to Metamora. And I currently live in Oxford with my husband and son Ian, and Kathy has her husband Rob, and both of her kids are in college, just to give you a little background about us. I'm going to let Kathy talk about kind of what we do and what we have to offer next.
So at Metamora Physical Therapy, we treat general outpatient orthopedic conditions. We specialize in low back pain, neck pain, sports injuries, and post-surgical conditions. Heidi and I both have advanced continuing education throughout the years to provide the highest quality of care for our patients. We both have certifications in ASTEM, which is a technique to treat soft tissue conditions, so things like plantar fasciitis, tennis elbow, and any post-surgical scarring that you may have. We are also certified in lymphedema and breast cancer rehab. We are strength and conditioning specialists. All of our treatment that we do at Metamora Physical Therapy is individualized to each patient. It's one-on-one treatment for each of those patients that come through our doors. So not only do we want to be an outstanding physical therapy clinic, but we also want to be a community resource. So with that, we offer free injury screens in our clinic. We also are providing free monthly workshops on Wednesday. Those will start back in the fall. It's just going to be on a variety of topics that will be interest to the community. And then we are also offering fitness classes to the community as well. So we're doing right now a senior fitness class, we're doing a golf fitness class, and we're offering Pilates as well. So as you heard, we have a lot of things to offer at Metamorph Physical Therapy, so please check us out on our website or stop by for our visit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to explain?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's
So
do
I'm going
that.
to show you this. The ladies are going to show this, and they're going to explain what this
Does anybody know what this is? Any hands up? Anybody know?
It's a pool toy.
So for those that don't know, this in a gift card was our door prize today, and she came up before and asked what this was and thought maybe it was a pool noodle or something of that sort. It's a foam roll, and it's used to increase flexibility in muscle groups. So you can roll your hamstrings out on it, you can roll your back out on it, you can roll your quads out on it, but it's a nice tool to use for some of those stiffer areas in the body.
So
Demonstration?
you can go onto YouTube, and I bet you can find lots of exercises with it.
So after you go for your first Pilates and the next day you can't move, you need that.
Or you can stop in if you guys win the prize, and we'll show you how to use it.
See, there you go. There you go. All right, thanks, ladies. Perfect. Okay, our first nonprofit, Melissa Malcolm, Lapeer District Library. Come on up here, Melissa.
I'm good. Good morning, everybody. I'm sure that you all know why I'm here. On August 7th, 19 days from now, the library's bond proposal will be on the ballots in 12 townships in the city of Lapeer. By law, district library ballot measures are at the very end of the ballot, so turning a ballot over may be required. Our newest flyer, prepared by our architect, is in your bag and shows the new building site and floor plans. The potential for programming and services in this new facility, plus the additional physical collection of materials, is very exciting. Surveys done in 2000 and 2012 showed that residents wanted more of everything: materials, computers, meeting rooms, space, and parking. Our facility study in 2014 confirmed that the entire library system is inadequate in the space provided for patrons, and in 2016, residents called in a statistically significant survey supported our building a new facility. If you live in North Branch Township or Emley or Attica, please take note of the library operating millages on those ballots. Those libraries provide necessary services for their communities and deserve your support. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. Okay, our member focus, Glenn Ream, Vietnam Veterans of America, number 287. He's got a couple of quick announcements here, and then we're going to get on with our last nonprofit and door prizes and so on. Where's your door prize?
I'm
teasing.
Yeah, I called and asked about that, and she said, "No, you're exempt." I went, "Thank you." Said I want to make sure I cover my backside in case I don't want to be embarrassed by not having one. Just a few things about Chapter 287. We've been around for 32 years, which is longer than some of the people sitting in here. We've had 4 times we've had the moving wall in Lapeer County. We also, back in 2015, brought the Agent Orange Quilt of Tears. We are many members of our chapter support the 50th Commemorative Committee, including myself, who's been the chairman of it. We're hoping to close this one out soon. Chapter 287 is taking on a project here with the city of Lapeer. We do not have a monument in Veterans Park that covers Afghanistan and Iraq. We have, working with Macomb Monument, who has put this together. I met with the couple of people from the city yesterday. We picked a spot to put it in. These are the two individuals that will be on the stone. We also left room for more. Hopefully we won't have to do this. Ross Tolles from North Branch, who was in the Navy, and Nicholas Miller from Clifford, who was in the Marine. I personally met this young man before he went overseas, and I went to his funeral. He was home in August of that year on leave, dressed in his uniform. We did, Clifford had a weekend thing every year, and our chapter always led their parade. And he was there in his uniform, and we kind of collared him and took him to the local bar that doesn't exist anymore and talked to him. And the end of December, we were at his funeral. So it was very disheartening to me to see this happen. And so with that said, Chapter 287, we want to try to help our younger veterans get through things.